How you been?
Man, I've been good. I've been tired, but I've been good. Finally finished Relooted, so it's like after 5 years, I'm just like just coming down, like after all of that. So been a bit tired, but good. I mean, I'm good now.
And Guti, with the movie stuff that has been happening for quite a while, obviously with work, with your art, with the game you guys released, props to you guys, even though Tingabanya Bapetama Nintendo, we have heard nothing regarding Relooted releasing on the Switch. So hey, Asaz.
Oh, Switch is another story, but yeah.
But nonetheless, hella proud, Machi, hella proud, and the reception of both gamers internationally, obviously, even within the continent, and Hispanile. Prop to you guys.
No, at least, it's out. We cooked as much as we can, you know what I'm saying?
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Me and you have been sending each other messages regarding a trailer, a movie, and then at one point you'd send a link outlining Uguti. Zack Snyder's indie project was to screen a cans. Hey, umuntu engekho excited kanje. There I was going there, checking the lineup. Wow, hey.
Yeah.
Okay, so the rumors, then there's two chances of it being true. Only then ultimately to find Uguti, look, it didn't make it to the list for whatever reason. Skip on, God.
Yeah, bruh, I have no idea. I'm suspecting that maybe it could be like a distributor kind of a thing. One maybe could be like a distributor could have said, okay, I want to distribute this, but I don't want it to be seen at Cannes first. So maybe something like that. Maybe they were like, I don't know. Maybe just put it out because if I'm going to distribute this film, maybe they would want to do it in some channels. I would not know, of course, right? But that's what I'm suspecting. Another thing that could happen is maybe the scoop was wrong. The scoop maybe could have been wrong. They could have just gotten a wrong scoop. We could have just, because for me, I saw it through an article. It wasn't like a tweet somebody made or anything like. So maybe the scoop was wrong, and turns out the movie was not selected. Or maybe, when somebody hears somebody said, maybe I should put my movie up to a Cannes, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that could be cool. And then somebody says, I heard Uji that was talking about Cannes. Somebody quickly went and wrote an article saying,
let's make a scoop.
Cannes.
This is a front page.
Exactly, like Cannes Festival, I see that, it turns out, no, it didn't it didn't work out. So, yeah. Here we are back again in the darkness with the last one.
Hey, and it's so funny. We're speaking like this. Apparently, but Zack Snyder's first film, Dawn of the Dead, the premiere was at Cannes 2004, believe it or not. That I'm not sure about is that if Universal at that time was, as a distributor, of course, Bugu that did the push, it was a case, Snyder's more of a marketing genius, so to speak, with him having also have dabbled into Iningi with ads, media, talked to different artists in the field of content. So it made sense. Okay, fine. The premiere of Dawn of the Dead was selected for Cannes. So with him having done a tentpole for 2 decades now, switching from Warner Bros to Netflix, maybe this would be now a return to form for him. Okay, I'm going low budget this time. I'm taking out a different side of things with this particular project. Kanti dololo.
Kanti no. It's odd. Another thing that maybe that also make me think with him like with the Cannes thing was that maybe he probably did get an invitation, because the Cannes is by invite, right? Like you don't just bring in stuff, it's by invite. So maybe I'm thinking he might have probably gotten an invite and somebody saw or somebody leaked information that he got an invite, and to them was like ringing bells, I'm going to see this at Cannes. I got to write something, I'm trying to piece it together on like, why would somebody make up a rumor like this? So that's why I'm thinking, but I mean, with Dawn of the Dead, that's a James Gunn and Snyder joint, pretty much, right? Like James Gunn wrote it, Snyder directed. I didn't know that it was actually it premiered at Cannes, which I think is cool that it was actually selected. I don't know if it won that year or not. I should actually look it up and check actually who won that year. But it's actually interesting with that film actually got selected. It's kind of a film that I would not even think that the Cannes
literally a zombie action flick.
Yeah, it's just all fun. It's a fun film. It was a fun film. There was comedy there. It was it was everything. It was like a rated R crazy experience.
Imagine.
Like it feels like a young Snyder experience in a way, with some James Gunn-ness in there. Funny enough,
and it worked. They both gelled for that particular project. It worked so well. And then you find Guti now, they both in different journeys within the Hollywood sphere. One is leading DC, then the other is sort of like taking a breather from leading a high-end VFX tentpole type of budgets. And now he's climbing to the ground with the most cheapest of the cheap, 20-30 million budget of apparently on the last photograph. And this one is taking things to the lean, which, you know what, small team. This one, it's close to heart, given that it was said to Uti, the idea was conceptualized around 2011, which also would be the time because I said busy in Warner Bros. From the time of The Watchmen and Sucker Punch, and then having an idea of a indie film. Hey, you guys were too busy, Buffett.
Yeah, no, I think, but I can understand, like, conceptualizing ideas like that, and then always just like putting them and say, like, at some point I have probably 4 or 5 projects that I've written, and I'm like, one day. Sometimes I chip at them and open them up just to check with everything is still holding up. So I understand, because it's just all about like just lining up your shots, and whenever you get an opportunity, then you kind of start slotting things in. I think the young me doesn't really, like, the young me would have not understand it, but like now I sort of like understand, especially if you get in your career where you work for a studio, you do stuff for a studio to a certain point, and then you get to a point where you do your own stuff, and then if your own stuff also generates more, I would say, capital, then that capital is gonna be a starter to the projects that you've always wanted. Right, like, so that small capital will fund films that you've always wanted to work on, and at some point it might even fully fund the films that you've always wanted to work on. So I kind of see the vision now, and I understand it. Like, I think, young me would have been like, daughter, state Warners, bruh. Like, or, like, go Universal, go Paramount, like, whatever, like Lionsgate, whatever, like, I know, like, Lionsgate with the John Wick stuff, they're making money there. Like, so I'm like, go there and there, But like, now I sort of understand that, like, hey, he's like, hey, Stone Curry, it's cool. It's me, Stone Curry, and then I'm building it up. And I kind of see it. I see it now. It makes sense.
The project right now, it's in post-production, as with it's deep in or almost in the middle or tail end of it completing. In your sense, what distributor would you like to associate with that particular film, especially for Zack Snyder? Remember, they don't have a distributor as yet. In my end, I kind of wish with A24. Imagine if A24 picks this up.
A24,
A24 films, the Zack Snyder project. It would be nice. Remember, for the longest time, Zack Snyder Opuma from Universal Films, Warner Bros, Netflix. Those are like your tentpole studios. But for A24, it's more like they first started out from indie type, your romance films or indie films, and then Chiga now. They also have a hand in action, but with those high-tiered, sought-after directors. But for Zack, I feel as if A24 would be the best fit for him. What do you think on your end, Buff?
Yeah, I think A24 is fine. Like, I am, most of the stuff has been out there. I don't know in terms of how strong is their marketing and distributing power. Like, I'm scared, like, because I know, like, there's just something sometimes, right? Like, because of course, like, you can't compare A24 and Universal, or you can't compare it to Colombian Pictures and all that, right? Like, because, like, it's just simply because of, like, the other studios, that their distribution reach is bigger. So for me, then that leads me to ask myself, if it's like a smaller distributor, will even Ster-Kineko have access to that? Will New Metro have access to that? Or do we have to go to like Ster-Kineko Niveau or something like that to see it? Like now we have to, like now the distribution and they're like small and we got it's a movie that we just see
limited release for 2 weeks and then out.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like that for me, that's the thing. I'm hoping for him to get like a bigger distributor, like at least a distributor that won't screw him. Like Lionsgate, yes, I think Lionsgate will be good for me, just only because their distribution has reach. Like I know when a John Wick films, obviously if a John Wick film comes out, obviously it's gonna be in theaters. I'm gonna watch it in cinemas.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So in terms of reach, I just want a distributor that has a good worldwide reach. I don't want this whole thing of like, it's in like 10,000 theaters, but in America, and then that's it, and then the rest is like, it's complicated, it's tech stuff, and then now we have a situation where it's a Rebel Moon situation again, right? Limited theater run, we're chilling, we didn't watch it. We have to wait for it to play in our TVs. I don't want that. Dude, it's been a long time, bruh. For me, the last Snyder film that I watched in cinemas was BVS, bruh. Like the fuck, like that's the last. That's 26. That's 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
No. Correction. The last film with Zack Snyder is Justice League, the botched version, 2017.
Okay,
2017. It's botched, yes. But 2017.
It was Porsche. Yeah, okay. I will say that. Like 2017.
2017,
still,
yeah.
It's almost 10 years ago, bruh. I want to just get out of my house, go to the cinema,
I want to be part of the experience.
I'm
a Zack Snyder film.
Like, when was the last time?
But again, to be fair, A24 does have muscle power in terms of advertising. Remember, the Smashing Machine got Dwayne Johnson. Theatrical, it was available globally. The one got Mati Supreme as well has been. I think for them, it's a case Uti. They tend to push films that they deem worthy enough. Okay, who's attached on this particular film? Okay, it's these stars.
And also for how long, right? And what's the theatrical window as well, right?
Yes, the timeline. The timeline, yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's okay, but like then it's like there's always like there's a A24 film, right? And then like a following week, like I don't know, like a big like Paramount Pictures film will come out, right? And then all the premium cinemas, I'm talking your Double Vision or your IMAX, whatever, it's now all Disney or it's all Paramount. Like just the big studio are like, no, you gotta watch this film in large format, because I know the last photograph it's like IMAX format, like right, like it's IMAX format. It's 65 millimeters. It's already like IMAX worthy. There's some people who shoot in 50. And people even shoot in 50 millimeter, and they're already like it's IMAX already. But like so 65, that's like even very close. It's really, really large format. So I was like, okay, I could see this in IMAX, but then A24 releasing an IMAX film. Okay.
And for how many weeks, given that depending on the reschedule Sakona, they're gonna take the Dolby screen for like 2 weeks, and then Disney or something from Paramount overtakes you. Okay, the first 2 weeks you can have. Afterwards, Shincha. It's our time. So it makes sense when you put it that way.
Yeah, I think also there's just you kind of bring an interesting thing. I think lately now, the theater system or the cinema system has changed so much that like now it's not 3D, but it's premium screens wars. Like now it's like, hey, listen, it's either like there's that IMAX projector that every film now is lining up to get into it. And shout out to Nolan. I think I would say shout out to Nolan, because Nolan really did normalize the IMAX. Like he normalized the IMAX. Like for everybody, every year when the movie comes out, it's IMAX. People are like, what's the hype? And then Oppenheimer also came up in IMAX. People are like, oh shit. And Dune came out in IMAX. People are like, oh.
Let's not
Sinners as
forget
well,
or omit
right?
Sinners. Same person that
Yeah.
advised Uriah Ubani. It's Christopher Nolan, Guti, my guy.
Nolan, yeah.
IMAX is the way to go. IMAX is sort of like a tentpole of us audiences experiencing things theatrically as it was meant to be seen. So shout out
Yes.
even to Ryan for him pushing and sticking to that
Pushing it
format.
and saying, I
Now,
mean, again, because like he also was like, yeah, I'm also going in because I'm not gonna. Yeah, I mean, like Wakanda Forever was like was IMAX, but it was I want to call it. I want to call it like I don't want to call it true IMAX. It's fake IMAX in a way. And I want to speak ill to Disney, all the other guys, like, but like you know, you didn't spend the IMAX money out of it. I understand. I understand. You can't like there's a sacrifice with shooting with in IMAX. There's a sacrifice in shooting in large format. Like for example, ADR. That's why Christopher Nolan's films they have terrible sound. I know, but like sometimes his movies, when it comes to sound, fuck, man, like it's sometimes that's where they drop them for. Everything is great. Then the sound, I'm like, oh, you try to watch Tenet, you must balance your systems, man, to hear the dialogue. But the reason that is because with the IMAX, the camera is so loud that you can't record the sound on set. So it always has to be ADR. That's the sacrifice that you have to make with IMAX. So when a movie's when they advertise film, they're like filmed for IMAX. It's not IMAX. It's not. It's not IMAX.
I think to add upon what you're saying, what I noticed go IMDb as I gone through specific films and rewatching some, it's a case of two ways. One, there's made for IMAX or shot for IMAX. That's your Nolan, there's specific directors. And then there was also, if you can also put in our homie and Zack Snyder, okay, the specific scenes, say go BVS, that were IMAX filmed. But the entire film wasn't necessarily shot in IMAX. So it's a case of in post-production. Now Snyder has two formats. There's a 235 or 240, the normal version, the squeezed one, and then there's an IMAX one. But also depending on the showcase of that cinema, if it's like the true IMAX, which is 143 or 185 of the tall screen, which even those are still limited even now in 2026. So it's a case of by then productions, depending on also the version of the director, we go either full IMAX or we shoot specific scenes in IMAX, similar to about Dune 2. Dune 2 had specific scenes in IMAX, but the film itself wasn't IMAX shot for its entirety.
In IMAX, yeah.
Fast forward to now, last year, 2025, Sinners. Look at what we saw with IMAX. Look at how the technology has evolved. To now, Nolan pushing IMAX to even innovate to such an extent that his upcoming film is the first new IMAX catered for him and also the one that will contribute to the entirety of the industry. So, hey, we're in for a good one for.
Yeah, I'm curious to see with the Odyssey because of just like the amount of shots, right? Like, because if you think about it with IMAX, that's why I think like if you look at BVS, some of the shots most of the shots that were shot in IMAX, they were the ones that did not have a lot of dialogue or at least have little dialogue in them, just so that you don't really kind of have to like do the whole ADR thing because that's extra money that you have to bring the actors to come in and then do the voice and then the sound and everything else. So with the Odyssey, I want to see because I'm hearing that they are shooting with the newer IMAX cameras. They say they're not as loud, so I'm not sure how the whole ADR thing, but they might still be loud. I don't know right now. Like the DP and the cinematographer have not really like sort of like we haven't heard much about that film and how that process is going along. And maybe there's probably an interview somewhere, maybe in IMAX magazine or something. But I'm curious to see how that whole thing is going to work in terms of shooting everything entirely in IMAX and how the audio thing is gonna play part. Because like I said, with Nolan, oh man, like sometimes the ADR or the balancing, the mixing of the sound can be muffled. Like even the opening of The Dark Knight that was shot entirely. That was IMAX, right? Like with the Joker, the whole thing. You can just see
that's set up.
it is all in IMAX. But you can hear even with the sound. I was like, oh, some of these punches, they don't they don't have that thing, right? Even some of the gunshots, I was like, oh, it just doesn't have that punch. But like it kind of brings in like it was just all the sound guiding because sound people have to kind of do everything from scratch in this situation. So kind of makes sense. But hey, it's cool. Like I also just IMAX doesn't really mean that like it's IMAX and talent. Like I think a lot of people also need to understand that like it's not like IMAX isn't just about having a large format and having like all the information that you need. You could, but if the talent is also not there, like if the cinematography or the director of photography, like but just that whole department, if they're not really talented, you might not get like the cool looking stuff, right? We got like some movies like the Marvels had some IMAX shots, and I still can't think of any shot that film was so.
It's more like a checkbox with the hey, is a film
Hey,
in IMAX? Yes, let's take it.
yeah,
IMAX certified. It's extra bucks per with ticket sales regarding IMAX from your normal tickets. So
yeah.
it's
So
oh it's
yeah,
it's
I
it's
don't.
tricky for depending on the talent
So
as usual.
talent
Hence with
buff
your
was
Nolan, it's Hoyt van Hoytema. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name of the gentleman. With him and the work
mhm,
we've seen from Tenet, in fact, not even from Tenet, from Interstellar leading up to now, the quality.
yeah.
With Snyder, umngane to Mr. Uncle Wow. Umngane Zack Snyder. I'll just say Uncle Wow to those that know
Wow.
the quality of those films,
Yeah.
even to date, having to watch BVS or Justice League. Come on, dude. And then you'll get the rest of the churn in Hollywood who die. It's just a good DP, good enough for the job. Oh, yeah, by the way, it's a film shot in IMAX, no? But let's post convert it for us to make extra bucks and just say Gucci IMAX certified.
And for me, as long as the cinematography is beautiful, like the equipment doesn't really matter as much. Like the great
True.
example is the Batman, right? Like the Batman. That was not like
Mm,
entirely
mm,
shot in IMAX. They didn't even
mm.
advertise it in IMAX. In fact, they used very old lenses. They used Helios lenses for that
True.
film. It was all shot in anamorphic, and it looked pretty as hell. But that's
It was
because they
clean.
still had a
Yeah.
vision. Like so, that your movie doesn't have to be like big IMAX for it to look pretty. Like IMAX
True.
is
True.
cool and it has its nerds. It has like people like Nolan who was like, nah, can't shoot. Hey, it has to. And that's okay. But that doesn't mean that like the film will look pretty. Like, so I think
True.
if you put the Dark Knight and if you put the Batman beats out the Dark Knight when it comes to aesthetics and just how beautiful the film
True.
looks. So
True.
just
True.
putting I'm just putting it out there. Just that it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be IMAX. It's a good option, but it doesn't have to be large
It
format.
necessarily. And it's so funny. We're speaking of the talent. The same DP that shot Good the Batman 2 is the same DP that helmed film, the current one, which is quite a hated sci-fi, Project Hail Mary.
I haven't seen Helmet. No,
Same
I haven't
thing
seen.
from the Batman. And in turn of his availability and scheduling conflicts, Dune 3 is not shot by the same DP that did it Dune 1 and 2. So it also says so much of the talent, which in as much as everyone can shoot, only a handful can have that extra sauce which makes it unique to them.
And I think that's why you'll get like guys like Snyder, right? Like Snyder would like because I know that some directors, right, would say,
Hmm?
we're gonna shoot the film like this, right? Like, well, we're gonna shoot it in this format, right? So let's storyboard the whole thing in this format, let's storyboard it in this ratio and all of that. Great, right? And that works. Um, but then like you get like people like Snyder who's like, we gotta shoot it in this format, and I know the kind of also lenses that I want us to use, like the kind of like, like what aspect ratio we're gonna go with. I'm gonna take these to fucking optics place, and I want like lenses that are like
And
this, and I'm
rehouse
gonna
lens.
rehouse.
Too much.
Yeah, like so like it's so already like the DP got their job cut out. Like when they come in, holy crap! Oh, eventually Zack Snyder just ended up just becoming the DP. himself. He's like, you know what? Listen, I'm just too much into it. I'm just already in it. I'm doing both jobs. Like I'm taking care of the lenses. I already know what I need. Maybe like the person is just gonna just be there to be like maybe like an assistant or something like that. Like right, like somebody to just change the just be like, here's a 35, here's a 50, here's a 70. Quickly, here's the camera. He grabs the camera. He continues doing what he does while still directing and just telling people, "You go there, yeah, you do this, do this, do that, and I'm just gonna be here. Don't worry." And then they just keep on rolling. It just happens there. I think that's how I'm seeing the last photograph as well. I think it's shot like that as well. But I think like I think for me just like the stamp that I'm seeing or that I'm starting to see that I'm like putting in a game landscape is just more or less like bringing in the love of cinema, right? Like into the games, right? Like into at least into the games space, bringing like all the things that I know, all the things that I love, all the things that I think are cool, and then bringing them into the game space. Hence, I think like Relooted is I think was one of the few African games that have cinematics in them. Like not other games have cinematics in them, and I led a huge campaign to push for that. Like it was like it was tough to get it in there. I had to like be like, we gotta do it, we gotta do this. I read the script, I read the story. I'm like, there's no way. There are a couple of posts that I've done, I think that I've posted on Twitter with like me with the board, and like we were just like, because my general philosophy, and I literally learned from Snyder, like draw everything, draw every frame, draw every. But we had the script.
Film School 101.
101, draw every frame, draw everything. Like there was even a point where we didn't even have a script, but the story, the narrative director just told me, okay, here's the scenario of this first cinematic, and then what I think is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. Ash is doing that. I'm on the board and I'm already drawing panels, already like the cameras and all of that, all the angles, and I'm like, okay, cool. When she was done, and she was like, "Did you get all of that?" She thought I was, I was just gonna write it down or something, but already she was already seeing all these panels like that we've already done in the board. Yeah, then we just took pictures, and then I went home, and then I started pretty much just like drawing on top of them and just giving them more polish and details. And then eventually that was given off to that was taken off to mocap, and then they kind of looked at it, understood it. They brought they brought it back, and then I had to draw schematics on where the cameras technically virtually should be. So that the actors will be in the right places. And then once I get all the data, animation did a thing, take all that, put it back into engine. Then I did the camera work and all that stuff. And that's when with the camera stuff, then like in Unreal, was just like now doing, your apertures, your formats. If I wanted the shot to be in IMAX, I could just literally just do that format and it will get all those features. If I want a very good anamorphic, like very, with the borders from top to bottom and all of that. So yeah, like I would say now, like all of that stuff I'm bringing into like the games, and I want to sort of like just have the two kind of like mold into.
No ways. But did you even update your LinkedIn over your job description? It has gone by 2-3 pages. Like, dude,
I have
this specific. Okay.
I have. I've spoken. I've made friends. Within that field, I've met people. I'm in the right spaces now. So who knows? Probably, maybe my next role definitely will be very different. Because the thing is with Relooted, because it was a small team and being an art director, like I kind of some things I had to do myself, and some things I had to, like on top of doing the art and directing that, I also had to then look after cinematics because I was pushing for it. They were like, it's gonna be a responsibility now. Now you gotta make
that
sure
interested enough, then take hold of that aspect.
Exactly. And for me, until this day, for me, those days did not feel like work. Like those days, it did not feel like work. I did not feel like I was working. They were like, "Oh, you got this cinematic and this cinematic coming up," and I was like, "Okay, cool." Like those days for me did not feel like work. I felt like I was just like a kid, like with my cameras just going there, changing like doing the rec focus, and all of that stuff. For me, that was fun. I always laugh at it, but like for me, that was like the best time in the project. But like, yeah,
No
if you're
way.
talking film, and
Yes.
yeah, for me, that is my stamp, or at least that is what I want to. That is what I want to bring here. That is what I want to kind of leave a very big mark. I want to like leave video games like already screwed up. Like, oh god, no. Can cinematics get like this?
Imagine.
Yeah.
And at that time,
So,
stemming from the passion of Zack Snyder and the work he's done, and also his infectiousness with loving film, and also exploring the entire canvas of film. This next thing will be, tagged as shillers for Zack and his mixed reception films. Not understanding it's bigger than also the flaws that people may see from a surface level. Film,
yeah,
it's a beautiful medium that only wants you to just think outside the box, but
yeah,
unfortunately not everyone will get. And then in likelihood of talent like yourself, you even actively apply that to projects you involved in, like you Relooted.
yeah.
Dude, you kill, y'all all killed it, but man, Stone Quarry, Stone
did
Quarry,
you
that's
did
all
you
we'll
catch
say.
did you catch the Dark Knight Returns frame that I've actually had in one of the cinematics? Because it's one of the cinematics that I actually was influenced by the Dark Knight Returns, and I think I did put it as a story. With the shot of the main character and the lightning behind it, all stuff like there's
No
some of the small
way.
nuggets from that, like that I know that I was like, oh, I know this, like this is like stuff from the things that I like, this is
That's
coming
trivia.
from, but like, and also the
Wow.
crazy thing is like people don't know, but let me just say people at work didn't know, and that's okay, right? Like for like they
It's a geeks thing. Those that love it will understand, and the
yeah,
niggas fuck
those
at the end of
understand
the
it.
day.
Yeah, yeah. I can always just point things out that I'm like, okay, cool. There's a shot. There's a couple of really cool panels and shots there
No
that if you
way.
recognize some specific influence, they're there.
You're
Like
gonna catch them
you're
at a
like,
go, dude. This.
like, oh, I see. Yeah, you'll be like, oh,
Oh,
I see this. I see this. But like, yeah, like yeah, there's some really cool shot. There's like one also that I really liked, and I kind of wish that it lingered a bit more, but like we kind of didn't have enough animation. But like, not like giving too much spoilers, but like
mhm.
the main character is sort of watching like this sort of like hover vehicle leaving the scene. Like there was a whole scene that happens, and then this character gets into a hover vehicle, and then they kind of like they so I guess hover off or fly off or drive off. I don't know, because
Yes,
it's in the
yes,
future, right? And then
yeah,
like
sure.
and then I had like the shot of the main character looking up with this pretty much light coming from the vehicle, like so. It's like if if you've seen if you've seen like I remember my boss had like a couple of shots from BBS and one from Man of Steel. So there's a shot
Oh,
of Martha and Martha looking at the Batmobile as it rises up,
yes.
stuff like that,
Okay.
when it was saved by the police officers and stuff like that as she leaves
Yes,
the
yes, yes, yeah.
she's like, oh, thank you for helping me. And the guy's like, are you okay? And then you see this light of Batman just flying
It
off,
just booms.
right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then there's a shot in Man of Steel when eventually Baby Clock gets sent off and the launch happens. And then you
Yes, yes,
see his mom looking up at like the whole thing as it
yes, yes.
launches, and everybody just
Yeah.
like, gets distracted. And of course, Zod takes that as an like takes, it's like, of
But
course.
even when he takes the punch, he's still looking.
Yeah, he was still looking. Yeah, there's like a shot like that kind of sort of like response.
Mm.
That's just kind of like, yeah, I remember that. So yeah, just little things like that. Little
And
small.
and all stemming from our passion and love for film. And which film?
Yeah.
Zack Snyder. But no, you are shillers. You are shillers. You're just shilling for this man. And I'm at the point where now I'm forced to dude. Look, say what you will, Tina fans. We know what we love, and what's nice enough is that we have our own niche community, as small as it is. Good day, for such is happening. Did you see this? Hey, shot on anamorphic, this lens, this,
This
that,
is
and the third.
that.
So
Yeah.
much so that even the work stemming from our passions, we even enveloping ourselves in. About Relooted have things inspired by the same medium.
Inspired, yeah, and I think it's just the medium of film in general, right? Like the filmmakers that we like, or the films that we've watched, kind of do influence the work going forward. And I think it's okay to sort of because I know there's a lot of Snyder fans out there who are like, I'm not gonna say it.
The closeted ones. The closeted ones.
Yeah, I think in a way, like, that's fine, but in a way you can still say that, like, it's from this film, but like, yeah, this got inspired from this, or this got inspired from 300, whatever it is. But like, yeah, it's just, for me now, it's even beyond like, I'm okay with the average movie watcher, or the average audience not understanding the film. Of course, like, it's great if they understand the whole thing, but I understand if they don't really like gel with it. I'm like, I like it.
True.
It's so cool. Like, even with some of my friends, like, I love Rebel Moon. I know some of my friends will fucking hate it. I know people who are like, I did not like it, and it hurts, but it's like, okay, what? It's okay.
Those that do, it's fine. Sure.
Yeah. I'm like, I wish we both liked it, but it's okay. And I know a lot of people did not even give the director's cut like a chance for some reason. I'm like, oh, you missed the better, like, you really missed like the really big why of this film. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I'm also finding myself that I'm actually loving Rebel Moon more now than actually in the beginning. Like, in the beginning, it was like sort of I think in the beginning it was just a lot of noise. I totally feel like it was a lot of noise. I mean, I don't even want us to get into like the state of what is it, like, film criticism in YouTube. Oh my god.
Yes. No, not even just YouTube, just the whole of the internet. Because the minute you say YouTube, we're gonna now make it its own pocket universe. Dude, it's the internet.
Even
YouTube, it's the internet.
Because I'm thinking for myself, like, if I watched Rebel Moon and I didn't have the internet, if it was me back then when I was back in Makaya and watching this film and I had no internet, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is like the coolest thing ever, right? Like, and then like you come out and then people will tell you, oh, the internet can't wait to tell you why you should not like it. They can't wait to tell you why it sucks, like why it's the worst film ever or something. They said the same thing about Sucker Punch, and oh my goodness, right?
Dude,
that is a film.
We're still waiting for the original cut that Snyder intended, but due to studio politics, no, look, they need something small, tunable enough for the distributor to make the money back, and that's what we got. And then even when the extended cut was announced, dude, I was there, go look and listen. I'm looking for Sucker Punch extended cut.
Did you get it?
You might be the only customer. Hambangale by the back. Oh, I go Blu-ray, it's on TVT.
I mean, I get it, but did you get it on DVD at least?
Yeah, I have it. I have a copy.
Damn.
I have a copy.
I need to get it. Like right now I'm torn because I want to get it. Because I think God to online shopping, right? Like now at least we get access. But 4K, man. Because I don't want to buy it in Blu-ray and then having to buy it in 4K. Because when you buy it in 4K, the 4K comes with the Blu-ray. Now you kind of have the two. So I'm like, I wanna eventually at least own it in 4K. And if so, what's the hold up? Like, I know if they would re-release it in 4K, that would be really good. At least I'm thinking about Criterion Films. Is it Criterion Films? No.
Okay.
Is it Criterion?
There's Criterion. I think there's 3 distributors for Blu-rays. And it's fun, I'm forgetting their names. With Criterion, they tend to linger more on classics, Oscar-nominated or Oscar voted films, and then you'd get those rare like B-type flicks, but to say this is the only copy that has director's commentary on it and BTS. Then they now reshape it to a custom criteria. Yeah. But I think it's 3 distributors for that. Yeah.
I just need one to just take a risk on Sucker Punch. Like at least have a Women's Day, have a Women's Day edition, Just be like, for the women, guys, here's Sucker Punch. Enjoy. But like also, yeah, I mean, Sucker Punch is such a misunderstood film, right? Like, it like to a surface a person just watch it from what it is. They're like, oh my gosh, this film over sexualizes women, but it literally like it says a message like it literally criticizes the sort of I kind of find it hilarious, but it is literally criticizing the kind of state where we are right now with some quote unquote gamers when it comes to them sexualizing
the fetishizing of women,
like
it's like sort of like those undertones of what makes a female from that world, and then it reflects again back to them. But imagine, mind you, we still have seen theatrical. We haven't seen Zack Snyder's intended.
No, we haven't seen the whole thing. Eventually, I hope if he gets into a podcast, he gets into with somebody who pretty much will ask like, what more are we gonna? If today Criterion said like, listen, we're gonna drop Sucker Punch, what more do you want to add into it? Like, because I'm sure he has a cut. Like in that cut, like
what there is, yes.
Are we going to get, and in what order, right? Like because like even the theatrical cut was still good, very rewatchable, but the extended cut is actually better. I prefer the extended cut is much better because it even has more context. I mean, I think it even added the whole thing about like consent and how like it's quite interesting actually. It's how effectively
sort of like it adds on the layers of the surface that we've seen that there's a sort of like a proper intro and then a payoff from what you've seen theatrically, and then it has a moment for it to breathe a little more, but still it's theatrical. If Michael Apted and DeLuca from Warner Bros give Snyder that chance to say, look, we're celebrating perhaps a 16th anniversary, what ideas you have in mind? Here's a budget, dude. Would have the reckoning
very cool,
of the Sniper Punch verse of people coming back, and even those closeted fans who might have gotten it, but due to the mass saying, "Hey, it sucks," this would be much intrigued to say, "Okay, what voice did you originally have for this specific project?"
Yeah, because I think you gotta love the stuff that you love. At the end of the day, okay, there's nothing wrong. I think there's nothing wrong with pretty much liking what you like. Especially, I think if these films were offensive in a way that it was not acceptable, I'd be like, okay, fine. Like if these movies were super racist or they were like very weird, like and in a way that like it's like this director's going out of his way to offend as much people as he can just to see what happens, then I would like be like, okay, cool, I'm on board. Like he's trying to piss us off and it's working. But like since these are just like films, right? Like these are just sort of like films that like another person wants to tell, and they just need an ear. And I kind of understand it. Like I
man.
Like understand.
We both earned the Rebel Moon extended ultimate cut. Me, I'm happy. Me, dog. We even had our own mini chatter that took 3 to 4 hours. God forbid things happen, the footage is gone. To say if a director could be given free rein to do anything, it's Rebel Moon. But how often would you get such risk-verse films modern times nowadays? You wouldn't. Everything is calculated, everything is penned out to ensure that the studio maximizes as much as they can get. But for Netflix, that time to have risk the way they did, hey man, we had our cake and we sure ate it.
Sure. I think also like the crazy thing about it, especially like going back to Rebel Moon, I would even add like Army, right? Like what I can add is like I've seen many Netflix films, right? Like I recently watched The Rip, but that's another, like it's the cool film. Like there's like Netflix film have like their own look into them, right?
A specific look, a specific texture. The grading needs to be in a specific format. Doesn't need to stray too far or too near.
Doesn't have to. And I like the fact, like with Army and and Rebel Moon, like Snyder is pushing. He's pushing as
Hey
hard
man,
as
you
he
went ham.
can.
Yo, you went
He's
ham,
pushing.
dog.
He's like, this movie has a budget. I don't know how much. Like, was Rebel Moon was like 90 million, something like that.
No, I think each film was 90 total. Let's say it's 180, and then within that 180, it's 2 cuts. Imagine a director saying, "In shoot day, we're gonna shoot twice. We're gonna shoot for the PG-13. We're gonna shoot for the R-rated."
Yeah, yeah, and they don't, and like they look expensive. They don't feel like it's a Netflix. They feel like a film that played in theater and then it got to Netflix. Like, you know, when Netflix gets a film that came out in theater,
Afterwards, yes,
like,
the licensing, your type of Sony films, yes.
yes, and then when you watch it, you can kind of feel I'm not watching a Netflix film. I'm watching a film that is kind of played in theaters. Like
Sure.
his films, like he's pushing that much. Like when you can watch The Rip and then you watch The Rebel Moon, you're like, oh, okay, cool. This is different vibe. Like the lens work, everything, just like the way just these films are just like made. You can kind of tell that it's a different caliber, you know, different hands. It's just the way they treated it. So, you know, but anyway, people have opinions.
Hey, people are people, but for those of us who are core fans, even now, imagine we had a chat about Rebel Moon last year. Dude, we haven't said anything about Rebel Moon, and here we are. Just little nuggets here and there.
Yeah, just a little stuff. But like, yeah, now we're waiting for the last photograph, man. That's all I can say.
Hey, fam, no distributor yet attached. Deep in post-production. Snyder going a bit different. This time it's one writer instead of Shea Hatton and his co-writer that did 300. Forget his name right now. It's so weird. And then change the editor as well from the editor that did Zack Snyder's Justice League, most of the Netflix film. This one's a different editor. Yeah, dude, it's as if it's flipping the script this time around. If either it's related to the budget not being as much, or if it's a creative choice, hey fam, only Snyder can tell us at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, it makes sense if maybe like I would understand from the creator's perspective. If you're making something in a tighter budget, sometimes you want the people that you're working with, the people you usually work with, to be paid well. And if you don't have the budget to pay them well, you kind of be like, it's okay, you know, go work on that film that will pay you more with the time that you would. In the one that I'm working on, I wouldn't want you to work for little money. I'd rather I don't work with you than me pay you less money. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. Like if you think about it that way, it's like, nah, you got bills to pay.
Nah, you can't. At the same time, Snyder's like, I'm going to Ari. I'm gonna rent out the Ari 265 65 millimeter. Like, wait a minute, didn't you say this is a low budget for IMAX? Snyder, where are you going with this?
You just need to know where to spend the money. You need to know where to spend the money. You need to know where to spend the money. You know what I'm saying? And also think about it with the Ari. That means like if it distributors like okay, theaters only, then you shot with a camera that would have just, you know what I'm saying? So maybe he's like, okay, if we're going theaters only, then we are certified for IMAX. If we take this film to IMAX, they're gonna give us their stamp of approval and say, yes, this is certified for IMAX. You guys can put it there. I understand why. I get why, because you just need that stamp, right? And sometimes some films, they need to be shot in a particular way or the format. Because it's not about just the IMAX camera, by the way. Like there are some Ari can shoot at 70 millimeters. Panavision can shoot in 70 millimeters, and that's IMAX size. We just call it IMAX because of the branding, right? But the sensor size, or I mean, back then it was the film size, right? The film size was big.
Yeah. So the film perf, that's what they used to call it. 4 perf, 8, 16,
16, yes. So with IMAX, you already had the 60 millimeter, and then I think you also had the 70 millimeter, right? And then with the 70, which is 2 times the 35 millimeter, which was the Academy one. So with 70, then that meant like, oh, this film then it's big. Like you're gonna be able to watch it. It was like a physical size, right? But like now the crazy thing about it, like the camera sensor now has to be 70 millimeters in terms of like it taking in that amount of information.
Amount of light, yes.
So now you're not shooting on film, but you are shooting digitally, and you kind of need to match that. So it's quite interesting, to be honest. But like, yeah, with that amount, like if it's a 65, and then that the film in a way by default can qualify for it to be shot, to be watched in IMAX.
Distributed, yeah. I guess it's a waiting game from here going forward. So with that said,
I don't know.
hey fam, Sizobona. So the year now, we're approaching the second quarter. It's 2026 has been quite rough, obviously, with things around the world itself.
Yeah, it's been a rough year.
Economy, politics.
Rough
But
year
with
for
films, hey dog. With
been-
films, things have been sort of like on an upturn in a sense. Remember, with films, on theatrical usually was 30 days, and then thereafter get it on VOD, which was Universal that's pushed for that during COVID.
Yeah.
Now, for the first time, given that Avatar took 3 months for release, meaning Disney has been the only studio that's been like, hey, Baba, people are going to wait if they're going to have to watch. If you want to watch it, go to cinema. If you want to watch it at home, you're going to wait up until we deem it worthy enough. So now Universal has joined in the same mandate to say, okay, for the longest time, we've been pushing the 30 days release, and then afterwards, it's going on VOD. In fact, it's been 14. 2 weeks in, the last 2 weeks, then it's on digital. To such an extent, to now Universal like, nah, people are gonna wait. Now about Paramount and other studios are joining in. To such an extent, to there's a high likelihood that by the time of Dune 3, we might have to wait 3 months before VOD, forcing the general audience has been so accustomed to waiting for a digital release to now pop up, baham, and go watch.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Are you happy? Are you mixed on the matter? Do you accept?
I think I'm happy in a way, because there's sometimes when you miss a theatrical window of a film, you've missed it. Like you're gonna have to pray to the gods that one day there's a re-release and then they drop it in cinemas again. But how old would you be at that time? Where would you be? So I'm happy that if you didn't have time this week, you will have time next week. If you didn't have money this month, you can save up and have money next month to go watch that film in cinemas. I think it's good that we getting that extra time. I remember there was times where you could watch, the same film twice, in the cinema. I know people who've watched Infinity War like twice in theaters, right? Because they were like, I need to see Thor again. I need to
remember that was an experience. For Korean translate, you're saying it's a email and not dog. Let's go to cinema. You haven't gone? That's fine. Let's go.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that. I'm happy with, hey, bring it back. Let's get watching, the films again in cinemas. And also like it also gives a lot of more people to see the film who did not have a chance. Maybe they see you outside the country, you were doing some things, you were working, and a movie comes out, like, I've been waiting to see this film, but where I'm at, there's no cinemas. But when I get back home, I'll quickly go watch there. But if it's just 2 weeks, you might miss it, So if it's like,
True.
It's out, now I can relax and say I'm gonna wait, and then I can go watch it. But if you want to go to day one, that's not an issue as well. Be the person who goes there day one, and then that. I'm cool. I'm cool with the new mandate. Yeah, just make me. I think it also brings more value to films now more than anything else. To be honest, in my own opinion, because if you wait a while, getting that film for home release feels good. You're like, oh yeah, been waiting for a long time for this film to come out.
Yeah, any nuggets and some teasers for the next podcast. Namje, I'll be busy on the next searching with you in the week.
I'm there's like a small game that I'm sort of cooking. It's a very, very small game. I'm working with a programmer here locally. It's a very cozy, small experience. So yeah, I think eventually very soon we might have a build that I can put up on itch that will be free, and then you can try it if you want. We'll definitely send in a link once that is up. Also, just for play testing, but it's more or less like a very small thing, not something very, very, very big. And then on the other side, there's a sort of fantasy story that I'm sort of writing. There's a fantasy story that I'm sort of writing, and that has also been a bit fun. In terms of nuggets, I don't know if I would. Let me just say,
I think for now it's enough. Ngoba bosos niggas
Yeah.
are more than we even expected. I think for now we'll go with this.
Yeah. So yeah, just small things there and there. I'm putting things together. So yeah, like you said, it's kind of development, just so expand. But I think with Relooted, even if a sequel does make, I don't think I'll pretty much be working on it because I'm not working at the company anymore. The one the studio, but all because of okay, there's just a bit of a career change in a way, but also I want to make, I guess, sort of the sort of games that I've always wanted to make. And I guess in a way it is a bit of a, like you said, you gotta now find your own
Find your own path, do a
your
career
own path.
pivot, find yourself, and then eventually the right people will
Yeah.
find you.
You left Warner Brothers to do your thing,
Sure.
our man
Yeah.
left. So now it's more or less like I said, that's why I've been in there just working on this small project, but also really now writing stories, pitch decks, and all that.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
so in the future, I might call you and be like, yo, there's this thing.
For Agna call Nix, this is video 1
Yeah,
of 200. I don't chance. I win down. Will call me. Maybe the next podcast ever for this and the third.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you for chilling with us. For geeking out. Hoping to see you guys on the next one. And yeah, awesome.